Now imagine you were a product manager at Google. How would you design a home delivery system and grow it to Europe?
Okay, thank you for your question. So let me to iterate this question. So how do I design a home delivery product and expand to Europe?
Yeah, we don't really have an original market right now, so we just want to grow the product in Europe, not specifically just to expand the market to Europe. So just to make
Start
sure,
from grid.
right?
Cool. Yeah, great question. So before we start, can we share my screen so that we can refer the notes together?
Yeah, sure.
So the question is here. We want to design a home delivery product starting from Europe. Yeah, before I dive into any solutions here, I want to make some clarification here for you. When we're talking about this product, I think we mean it's digital, right? It's pretty much like the Uber Eats and Lyft, the DoorDash are doing.
Not necessarily. If you want to design a physical product, it's totally up to you.
Both digital and physical. Cool. Can I know, do we have a specific reason that I'm still the role of product manager at Google, right? Yeah, so can I know, do we have a specific reason that why do we want to enter the Uber, the food delivery market?
What do you think about that?
It could be, yeah, I think it could be based on the, usually it could be based on the revenue. It could be an extra channel for us to generate revenue out of it, or it could be we want to provide a more integrated experience for our end users. So it could be both, and then let me decide later on after I get enough information from you.
Okay.
Okay. Revenue or experience, user experience. Why do we target in Europe? Is there a specific reason for that? Why it's not US? Why it's not global?
What do you think about that?
Yeah, okay. I will analyze that later on. So for currently, can I assume we don't have any constraints on building this product?
Yeah, we don't have any constraints.
Very cool. Okay, my last question would be, can I safely assume that the goal of designing this product is to increase the user adoption, especially for a new product at the Okay, cool. Thank you for your question. Clarification question answers. So let's come back to why Europe. As far as I know, something specific about Europe would be the Europe. I would say it's one of the largest market in the world for food delivery in terms of the population base or user population base. So compared to the US market or the Asian market, this two market has already been very mature, where in which there are many competitors there already. So I will say focusing on the Europe market should help us to create actual competition advantage. And the last reason might be, I think Europe is a advanced region, so I assume users have a great access to all the internet or mobile devices. So hardware perspectively, they're ready to adopt such digital thing. So I would say mature internet infrastructure. So does all of these reasons make sense for me to understand why do we choose Europe at the moment?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. One question though, what do you think about the competitions in Europe?
Yeah, I think I can get more information from you. So as far as I understand that the US market or Asian market, they have their own domestic um, food delivery products such as Uber Eats and DoorDash. For Asian, we have Alibaba and Tencent. They're all in this market.
Mhm.
But for Europe, I don't think there is a extremely mature product there. And also they are still following very traditional way of delivering food, which is they make the phone call to the restaurants and the restaurants will send someone, delivery guy, they hired to deliver the food for the customers. So this is my current the understanding of the scenario. We'll come to any add-ons or updated information about this scenario.
Okay. I think for your assumption here, you probably want to think about several competitors, maybe potential competitors in Europe market, because if you think about maybe DoorDash or Uber, they probably want to expand their market, or even Amazon, right? We are not just limiting our product into food delivery. We are saying we want to have a delivery system. So there might be other competitors out there, but I do want you to think about what are the advantages we have and how we can win this competition.
Okay, thank you for the reminder here. So I will assume there they not only have in your market, we not only have their local domestic competitors, but also the international competitors are entering this market. And also I will not limit my scope in food delivery, but a whole product delivery system. It can be food or it can be other any other products they need to be delivered, like shoes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I think I have enough and detailed information from you. Thank you so much for that. I may need a quick moment here to quickly brainstorm several key user segments and try to see who should be the best fit for us to build the products for and what the pain points should be. Okay, thank you. Yeah, okay. Thank you for your time. I think I probably have some good segments here. The first one is students. I think they're the ones probably most open to using a new digital products, no matter it is international product or domestic. So I will assume they are technologically ready to adopt a new product. And also, I think the demand there is extremely huge because of the COVID, and students may probably have their classes remotely at home. And I assume the students, I would probably say they are the students from in the age of 20 to 25. Oh, no, it should be younger than that, 18 to 25. They're the master students. They're probably able to cook for themselves, but they still need extra services when they are extremely busy for the academic work. And the reason why I didn't want to focus on the students younger than this age is sometimes when they're not before they become adults, they probably live with their parents. So their parents will probably cook for them. So in the demand perspective, I would say students at this age will be probably the good fit here. Does this make sense to you? Yeah, okay, let's move on. The second segment will be working professionals. So I think the same logic here is because of COVID, people are working remotely from home. So they're busy. I know especially some people are suffering with the low efficiency at home. They are not as energetic or productive in the offices. So I will assume they will spend much longer time on the work instead of cooking. So I assume they probably want to get the food delivered or the products delivered. And also the work because of lockdown currently, the restaurants and shopping malls are temporarily closed. So I will assume these working professionals, they have money to spend, but there is no scenario for them to spend. So probably they will order a lot of food and products online, no matter it's from e-commerce or food delivery platform. So I assume the demand here will be also huge. And the last one will be the niche market. It should be someone who are not flexible enough to move or work around, no matter whether it is COVID time or not. They just don't get, it's not convenient or safe for them to get outside. For example, if you're disabled or you are temporarily sick, you are living in a hospital, you cannot walk around and get the food or products easily at other segments. So they may also be a huge demand here. They're creating demand here. So this is the three key segments I come up with. Do you have any other segments you want me to cover, or you're pretty much okay with my current segmentation?
Mm. So we are talking about growing in Europe market, right? So these are the three segments you think that are most promising for us to enter this market, or you just want to focus on these three segments first?
I think I will still prioritize based on this three segments, but I just want to make sure I did not miss anything you want me to cover.
Okay. So do you think these three segments are the ones that you want to focus in the future, or you just think these three are just the ones that you want to start with?
I want to start with.
Okay. What are the other potential user segments that you may want to target in the future?
Yeah, good question. So I will follow up with yeah, I will focus like some B2B business customers. So they're not necessarily the receiver of the goods, but they're also part of the whole system. So I will say if we are operating a B2B business, they will be our huge clients here. And they could be transportation companies, they could be e-commerce companies, they could be restaurant food companies. They need a whole advanced and smart delivery system. So I will say the business or enterprises customers will also be a great segmentation here. And based on that, I can come up with one extra. Would be, I think the elderly person can also be included here. So based on that, I can still think of something like, I think, just a quick moment. Yeah, I will talk about some rural areas clients. So in this way, the reason I want to highlight this specifically is for the rest of the four segments, we're assuming they are in a city scenario with developed enough transportation system, and they're easy to receive the product individually. But for other rural areas, like it's countryside, it's suburban, we may come up something smarter that they can receive the goods like in batches, which means we have a warehouse there, and the user for the last mile delivery, the users will probably come up here and pick the products by themselves. So the current traditional way of delivery system, I don't think their needs are greatly fulfilled because of the because there's no it will developed transportation system in rural areas.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is all the potential, I think, customer segments for the brand new product delivery system. And if I want to prioritize it, I think it's difficult to build a product to fulfill all the user segments here. So I will say I will probably prioritize one of them. So the criteria I will use will be the impact of our product can make in this user segment, and also how much it echoes with our goal, which is the user adoption complexity. So whether it is easy for us to build from user side. And the last one will be probably the infrastructure. It may get involved. So based on these three criteria, I will probably look at students, huge demand, user adoption, it's easy, and there's no infrastructure challenge here, and working professionals, same logic. For the elderly people, I think there is a relatively small user population here. And also, I think some people, when they're getting very old or they are not ready to use some smartphones or digital products, for example, they're blind. I know there are some accessibility design for those digital products, but I think in terms of the user population, it's still small here. So I will probably not go with that. And for the B2B business, I will probably say, yeah, it makes sense. And I will add one extra point here is because when we are serving the B2B enterprises, we are actually scaling our impact in an exponential way. Why is that? When we are serving one enterprise client, we are serving the customers of this, thousands of customers, even millions of customers of this enterprise client. So I think the impact here is huge if we serve the B2B or enterprise clients here. And for the last one, I think there is great need, demand, impact here, but I will deduct 1 point for the adoption complexity or infrastructure conditions, because of the rural areas usually means we don't have great, I would say, transportation or internet connection hardwares there. So in general, to sum up, I will probably go with the B2B business here to build a smart or efficient product delivery system for this segment. Do you think that this makes sense to you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. Yeah, I know there's a lot of content, so difficult to follow on. So yeah, let's move on to the pinpoints here. I will try to add more conversation and interaction points here. So I think the pinpoints for the B2B clients, especially in the Europe, I would say usually the B2B, the enterprises care something similar, that is efficiency, cost, and safety. So I think this is something in common that enterprises will care about when they're delivering or sending out some products to their customers. So I will put this as one of their pinpoints, and also, or maybe 3 pinpoints. Yeah, so based on that, I think for the Europe market, something special is about the cost. Because we know the Europe market is not growing very fast in terms of the population itself. So, and they have a huge beneficiaries policies for the whole society. So the government is shouldering a heavy burden there, which leads to a lot of people are not willing to work. So they think if they lie at home and receive the benefits from government, it's easier and more cozy for them instead of just going outside to deliver food or products. So I would say the human labor cost here would be something particular that your market would care about. And for efficiency, I think due to the lack of human labor force and the high cost for hiring a human delivery person, I think the efficiency is something they will also need to look at. And for safety, I would probably say this is probably not the most important thing because at least I will assume Europe is an advanced or developed area with countries the police and the government are currently the society is stable there. So I would probably say the safety is not something we should look at the most important pinpoint. So based on the cost and efficiency, I will probably go with some products can solve the both of the pinpoints at the same time. And that can be probably adopted by this B2B or enterprises customers. Do you think this pinpoints make sense to you, or you have something to add on here?
Because as my understanding, these are the criteria that you want to maybe or like how you want to design your product, not specifically the pain points from our users in Europe. Could you think about maybe because what I mean is, if you think about users in the United States, they probably want these three as well. So what are the user pain points that you see from Europe market?
Yeah, so one of the pinpoint, okay, yeah, I can add some use cases here. So for the cost, just like I mentioned, that hiring labor force is expensive for the enterprises in Europe. So they will probably think it's too costly to hire. Yeah, okay, I get what you mean. So they think it's costly to hire the labor forces here. So they will probably say they want a more low cost solutions here. They don't know what kind of solutions would be, but they want some products can help to decrease the cost. Does this make sense to you? So their one of the pinpoint would be they want to decrease the cost. Mm-hmm. Okay. So similarly, they want to improve the efficiency. But they don't know how, like, because they're limited to current technologies or traditional way of delivering. So I would say I will highlight this too at their pinpoints. They want to improve the efficiency and decrease the cost.
I understand how you want to, what are you talking about for these three pinpoints? But my question is, I understand for European market, they probably like the labor cost might be higher than US or very similar to US, or like the users there also want to improve the efficiency. I don't think there's much difference with the customer back in US. So how can you say like this is the product that you want to enter Europe market, right? Why not just launch it in the United States?
Okay, cool. So I still need something specific about the European market.
Right, because your question here is to design a home delivery system for Europe market, right? It's not like design a global business. We are specifically asking you about Europe market.
Okay. Okay. I think I'm more clear about this. So I think one of the pinpoints is some characteristic of the European market is they have very less urban areas, city areas. So usually the households, the customer and households are very scattered. Compared to the US market, we have so many, in terms of population, it's huge. In terms of the cosmopolitans, the big cities, there are more cities big cities in the US. So compared to the different from the European market, it is more scattered. The households are more scattered. So how to deliver the products efficiently to this scattered households will be a challenge here.
Okay.
So this make more sense to you?
Mhm. What
Okay, cool.
else?
Okay. What else? Yeah. I think something special about the European market. Yeah, I would say GDPR. GDPR is a specific data privacy regulation, which is extremely more strict than any places in the world. So I think it's difficult for the enterprises clients to not to obey the rules and regulations of the government and then deliver the products accurately, because there will be a lot of limit to get access to the user's information there.
Mhm.
So they may find it difficult to deliver accurately.
That's a good point. What else?
Thank you for the pushing here. Let me think. Something special about Europe. Okay. When we're talking about Europe, it's not a same country. Like US, we share similar, exactly the same language here. But Europe, there are hundreds of small countries and big countries there. So the language, I would say adaptation will be another challenge. How do we serve multi nations in this region? Okay, I think this makes more sense than the previous version. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this one is better.
Yeah, I think it's more, yeah, I think, thank you for the reminder here. I think this is more curated pinpoints of the users here. So yeah, let's look at how do I solve these problems, or how do I prioritize pinpoints. I think the good solution would be if we can solve all the problems in a one-stop solution, but it's a little bit difficult. So I will probably, given the time limit here, I will probably say I will prioritize the pinpoints here. So how do I prioritize here? The criteria will also be the impact. Similar with the previous one, we will always echo with this criteria, like how much impact and easy or not for user to adopt, and do we have enough infrastructure for this? I would probably say GDPR is the huge challenge here, is because we're Google, right? We are not local business operator among Europe. So if we can solve the GDPR problem, I think it's easier for us to provide a more holistic experience for all the users in the whole European region. Compared to the household and language adaptation, I think these two challenges could be solved by some domestic companies. And I don't think there is a huge difference whether Google is working on that or it's DoorDash is working on that. So I think something Google is good at is we understand the technology, we have huge capabilities in building data centers and know about the regulations and legal issues better than the other, I would say, growing unicorn companies like DoorDash or Uber Eats. So I would say this is something we can make the biggest impact. And once we succeed in that, the user adoption will grow exponentially. And we do have data centers in Europe. I think the infrastructure is not a challenge here. So I will add 3 points for this pinpoint. So the question now becomes, we want to design a food product delivery system for European market to solve the GDPR difficulties, to tackle with the GDPR difficulties.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Finally, we'll come to our solutions. Yeah, I may pause a little longer here to brainstorm some fancy solutions. Would you allow me to do that?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for your time. I think I got some interesting solutions here. I think the first one should be, it's very basic way to solve this problem is that we encrypt all the customer information from the whole data manipulation process. For example, when you are collecting the user's data, you are not collecting the full data like the phone number or the actual address. And then you use, I will say, I will use machine learning or other algorithms to know where exactly the client's address or contact information. And then based on that, we use blockchain technology to encrypt all the information and prevent any other parties to get access to the data here. So I think this technology is, I would not say very challenging, but it is efficient to solve the problem that is no one else can get access to the data in our system, even the users themselves. Okay, yeah. And based on that, I think another solution would be we built the local data centers. The local data center, I mean the physical ones, the servers, data centers. Why we want the local ones first, it is within European market. So we are not having any interaction or data transactions among outside the European region. So every data is preserved in the local area. So we don't need to think about GDPR challenges at all. So it is already complying with the most strict policies. And also we can add a auto deletion code in the whole system, which means that the information would be deleted on our system, like for example, 2 days or 3 days after the user received the actual products. So the whole no one else in the planet, even ourselves, cannot no longer get the access of the user data any longer. So I think the local data centers with the auto delete command will be easier. Okay, the last one, I think for the first two are pretty basic and easy to work on, but I think the last one is more efficient here, is we can deliver all the products by autonomous driving drones. The reason I choose this one is first, it's difficult for anyone else to track the route of the drones because it's not going through the ground. We don't have enough cameras for that, and the drones are very small, so people cannot get access or keeping an eye on this drones very easily, so they don't know what exactly it is, where exactly it is going to. And the users will probably, after they receive the products, the drones leaves very quickly. So no one see, as less as people see the whole process of the delivery, the less data leakage possibility there will be. So I think the last one, if I have to prioritize, I would say the last one might be something I would recommend here because it solved the, I would say the combined version of 3 solutions will be better, that we store all the data generated by the auto driving drones in our local data centers and encrypt them with the blockchain technology and deliver products with these drones. So what do you think about the consolidated solutions here?
Yeah. My first question is, what if the drones got attacked? Is there any risk about that part? And my second question is, if we are going to use blockchain technology, how much it is going to cost us?
Okay, good question. So I would say, in terms of the drones being attacked, can I know when you say attack is physical attack or it's a cybersecurity perspective attack?
Both.
Okay, I think for cybersecurity, cyber perspective, I think Google has the most advanced technology in the Google Cloud's services. So we have multiple products to build the firewalls to prevent the cyber attack. And also, and for cyber secure, I mean, for cyber attacks, firewalls, and I think there'll be a lot of firewalls to prevent the cyber attacks. And for the physical ones, I think that for the physical ones, we have a better technology is we can utilize the Google Map to reflect the real-time traffic. On the route. Why is this useful? I think the most important thing is when we know the exact traffic in a certain area, we can control the height of the drones. So if we know it is a very populated or a jammed traffic areas, we will assume there will be a lot of people. So they can view the drones are flying over them. So the possibility of our drones get the signal get interfered is pretty much high. So I would say for the well-populated area, we may probably get this information through our Google Maps data center and control the flying height of the drones to prevent people seeing this drone. If they cannot see it, it's difficult for them to attack. So both software and I would say hardware control will help us to eliminate the attack issue here. Do you think that makes sense to you? Okay, cool. Okay, now let's move to the blockchain cost. I think the blockchain cost it's expensive in the very beginning, but I think it is a marginal cost. The marginal cost will decrease as we expand to a larger user base or customer base. So if we can work with some enterprises customers in a certain industry and deep dive on that industries and expand our industry horizontally, that we move to, for example, from e-commerce to restaurants, then to other transportation companies, being the agency for them. When we are expanding, I think the data or the request, the cost per data request will go down. So I think I totally understand in the very beginning it will be expensive, but as we expanding, the cost will go down. I'm sorry, are you muted or am I muted?
Oh, sorry. My question is, how are you going to execute the plan?
Yeah. I think the go-to-market plan here would be, let me think about this. The go-to-market plan would be, I think I can cover this from 3 perspectives. I think from the product perspectives, I think we can try to let the first group of enterprises to have a free trial based experience on our products and see can we solve the GDPR issues for them. And if they are satisfied, they can keep subscribing our service. So I think from a product perspective, I will do a trial version plus subscription model. And for the channels perspective, I think enterprises, local enterprises is of course our first customers we want to target, but also any international companies who want to build business in a European market is another target we want to focus on, because they are also the companies who need to deal with the GDPR thing compared to the local enterprises. So I would say the channels will be domestic plus international. And the product and by industries. So we will launch our products or start to distribute our products industry by industry, because it's easier for us to dive deep and understand the local business better. The last one will be marketing. So how do we market all the process? I would say we'll have social media to broadcast our success, our achievement. And we have PR resources. That is, we have the traditional media, and we also have the newspaper, television, and also we have the more updated media like some like YouTube, some video streaming platforms. So social media and public relation would be our first or easy to access marketing channels. The last one, I think the most important one will be word of mouth. So I think a B2B business is a pretty much a deep dive but narrowed down business. So it's easier to get new customers or clients by the word of mouth effect, which is the user recommend their peers, their stakeholders, their supply chain cooperators to get involved, to get to use a new services they are satisfied with. So I think something important is we try to do great service for the existing customers and make them satisfied, and they will feel motivated to I would say recommend our products to other peers in the industry. Yeah, so this is probably my steps to first launch these products in European market.
Anything to add here?
No, I think I'm pretty much good here.
Okay. What do you think about your answer?
I will probably leave more time to you, but in general, I think I got great in a I would say Pinpoints phase. I got a little bit superficial. I'm not diving deep enough, but thank you for the reminding. I think I come to a phase that is containing more content to work on. In terms of other aspects, I think it's logical, but not I would say moonshot enough. So I would like to hear more feedback from you.
Yeah, this is very much like what I think about your answer. So the good things that you have done is, first, you definitely have a great conversation with me. I could see for interviewers, they will get bored in the middle. So you are pulling them back, you are calling them, you are pinning them, you are asking them questions, try to make sure that they are still following you. And the second thing is just like what you said, I really like your logic. I really like your structured answer. I could think about your next step when you talk about your previous one. So I think that is also a good part. And also you're a funny person. I think is always a plus when you're interviewing others. And the things that you should have improving. The first one for Google's interviews, like you said, moonshot is very important. It is not like really like moonshot ideas, but one thing that you want to make sure is not never to make the interviewer feel bored. So you need creativity. When you this question is very broad, right? You just ramp home delivery system to Europe market. It's too broad, right? It is going to be food delivery. It is going to be grocery. It is even going to be random stuff, right? Or if let's think about Europe, European culture, which is probably like how they like what things they might like. They have longer history, culture, so they might have more diverse goods to deliver. They have their own winery. So in the United States, wines are very delivered very difficult. So probably you want to have a new solution for the European market. Also, there are other stuff related to culture, related to everything. Like you can just think about a niche market, right? You don't need to discuss the whole like a variety of goods to deliver. You can also think about how you are going to do it across countries, right? There are so many countries in Europe. How do you want to deliver stuff across countries? You can find a specific part to attack to start your first solution and then expand your market, right? So I think the red flag from your answer will be your lack of creativity, because this question is too broad. You should narrow it down. Maybe just focus on one very interesting problem that you want to tackle. And also, if I go through your answer first, I think for your assumption, you first talk about you don't think there is a mature delivery product. I think this assumption is too easy for you. You probably want to add competitive analysis there. If you really want to have maybe food delivery or grocery delivery, which is kind of like a red ocean right now. And also, you didn't think about Europe market that deep, like what you said when you talk about Pinpoints. Also, when you talk about why we want to target, why do we want to target European market, right? When you ask that question first, you didn't dive too deep about this. You can think about maybe the population density, or you can talk about people there are not that career oriented, right? So if you think about people that really want a job to be a maybe a delivery person, then I bet like the number of people that actually want to apply for that job is not as many as people in the United States. So it could be another problem, right? And maybe you want to launch in European market because it is a smaller market, and you want to tackle a smaller market first to do a testing, and then you want to come back to the United States. It's also doable, right? Or you can think about maybe for some of the countries in Europe, maybe in certain seasons of the year, like in winter, their daytime is very short. So their grocery shop or all kinds of shops just close very soon. So you probably want to tackle that part as well. So just think about what are the differences between European market and the US market, and maybe just tackle those parts first, and then you can highlight your answer in that way. And also, when you think about customer segment, I think your customer segment and your pain point is not diverse enough. This is the part that you want to show the interviewer your divergent thinking. So try to make sure that you cover enough scope, you talk about enough bullet points, you talk about diverse segments and diverse pain points to show the interviewer that you have divergent thinking. What else? And also, I feel like I don't know if you forgot that you are a product manager from Google in the middle of your answer, because when you talk about building physical data center, this is actually something that Google already did. So maybe you want to talk about synergy more rather than like building new stuff.
Mm.
And the
Yeah.
last one, I asked you about your execution plan. Because Europe is such a big place, right? And there are different countries with different cultures. Which country do you want to run first, right? Which area do you want to test first? Or if you want to, like you said, to have a B2B service, which company do you want to deliver first, right? Maybe you can think about a specific company, like maybe I just like go randomly, like maybe IKEA, right? It is a Switch company, and they want to maybe improve their delivery efficiency, right? And because they value efficiency very much when they do land delivery. So you can think about some of the companies that you want to go first, and you might want to talk about like very roughly what is the contract going to be like. That is your B2B thinking, right? In your execution. So these are the points that I have. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I think those make a lot of sense to me. Um, so yeah, when we were not sure whether the interviewer want a more narrowed down problem or solution, or they want a industry level solution. How do we know that which direction they want to approach to?
When I say narrow it down, it doesn't necessarily mean maybe you think about maybe there are a lot of museums in Europe, and you want just to want to build a delivery system to deliver arts. I didn't say that, right? You probably want to think about what are the different habits Europeans have, and then think about how to design your product to satisfy their needs. So like I said, maybe they have a culture of having wines and cheese, and they want to their usual like diet is something like that. So maybe you want to think about the delivery system just to target these groceries. It is not necessarily to be a very niche market, but try to think about what are the unique habits from Europeans. That is where you want to target first.
Okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, thank you so much for your advice here. I just record all of them. Yeah, I think my interview and document can be iterated as well. So yeah, thank you for all the suggestions.
Good luck with your interviews tomorrow.
Okay.